How are we, Grubbas? I hope you had a great Valentine's Day, because no matter if you had a Valentine or not, at least you weren't spending it like this duo, the daddy-daughter dream team. What better way to celebrate this holiday than looking into the past of these two, since I've yet to cover them. Right in your face, scrolling through their past videos, the first thing that stirs up questions is this touchy-feely behavior the two would always display with one another. A closeness between the two that would even at a passing glance seem to already start encroaching past that father-daughter line, with post after post of the two attached at the hip, an arm rubbed way too long, or even a leg hiked up in a hug the way no normal daughter would with her father. Point is, you really don't even need to dive into the depths of the depravity of this relationship in order to really start to see the inappropriate nature of it. But rest assured, fellas, it only continues to get worse as we look into them. So Patrick would meet Sarah's mom, a woman with some unknown intellectual disability, and a relationship would form and eventually children would follow, with Sarah of course being one of those two children. And in Patrick's infinite wisdom, and in Sarah's mother's infatuation with Patrick, they would decide it would be best to homeschool these kids, because of course a manager at a vape shop with absolutely no background in education would be the perfect candidate to become a teacher. But with this, we already get this sense of isolation for Sarah. And of course, I'm not ragging on anyone who did get homeschooled here, but early on we get this isolation from her peers already, denying her the chance to make friends in a more traditional way at a public school, beginning to build these values of having a much more family-focused lifestyle than many others would have. I mean, her family, specifically her dad, would just become her entire world. It would be especially clear that Patrick would be instilling family over all values in Sarah with the way he would go about involving his two brothers in his children's lives. You see, both of Patrick's brothers are registered sex offenders. Yeah, you heard me right. Both. And despite the nature of these crimes that many would never forgive, most would also never allow children to be around, Patrick would let these two deviants be part of both of his children's lives because in his eyes, hey, they paid their debt to society already, leave them alone.
The stuff's not true. The stuff that is partially true is all twisted and made to be worse than it is. Perfect example, they brought up my brother's convictions. Yes, my brothers were convicted of sex offenders. That's their problem, not mine. Okay, yes, I still talk to my brothers. They're my brothers. Hello. I mean, I don't condone their crimes, but you don't abandon them. They paid their price to society. Leave them alone.
Excuse me, Jit? The phrasing here always gets me every time I've seen this video. Of course, he still talks to his brothers because, hey, they're his brothers, and they've paid their debt to society. Leave them alone. Like, they may have paid their dues to the United States government, but when it comes to being convicted of those crimes, when you get that name plastered on that registry for a disgusting, deviant act not one but two of his siblings committed, I personally believe there's no reforming or coming back from that. There certainly isn't enough reforming they could ever do to earn enough trust to be allowed around children. But no, we get this come on, their family shtick from him. Really just highlights to me how lightly and unseriously this guy Patrick seems to take these crimes. But of course, actions speak louder than words. The nature of their closeness, when you take a closer look at some of their posts, seem to allude to a much more inappropriate closeness that far oversteps the boundaries of a father and daughter. And there are some pretty specific events that we can reference when it comes to this, where Patrick really loves to blur the lines and tiptoe around that border.
Look back at the track.
Oh my God!
What you will find.
No! 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 No!
Tell me if a grub is reaching here, but that reflexive reaction grabbing her thighs so high up in the way the gremlin does really doesn't scream fatherly to me. If you squint your eyes just enough, just on this action alone, it really seems more like there's a couple dynamic here than anything, you know? Touchy-feely would be an understatement when describing how the two are, because with the following clip, it's crazy to me just how close the guy likes to get with her. I don't know, fellas, it really just rubs me the wrong way how he's pressed up behind her that way. During the recording of this video, she would have been 17 or 18, and knowing how balloon-like this guy's gut is, pressed up behind his daughter, it just really freaks me the hell out. But it only gets worse, only raises more eyebrows, because of course it does. We have here a song Patrick wrote for Sarah, a song I'm sure he would hope we would see as sweet, symbolizing the fact he's accepting that his daughter is all grown up, reminiscing on raising her, and expecting to always be a part of her life. But with the body language we see, something else kind of takes the show.
No matter what I do, you'll always be a part of me and me a part of you. I want to give you everything in this entire world. just because I love you, my sweet baby girl. You've had me wrapped around your finger for 21 whole years, through every hardship and all of the cheers. I have watched you grow into the woman I now see. Sarah, you are the greatest thing that happened to me. No matter where I go, no matter what I do, you'll always be a part of me and me a part of you. I want to give you everything in this entire world, just because I love you, my sweet baby girl. And now the time has almost come for you to...
And it would be that loving gaze the two would share, a gaze which I could confidently say shares more similarities with the way two lovers would stare into each other's eyes rather than how a father and daughter would look at each other. Like that eye contact, the forehead touching, along with all the information we've seen before. You can't tell me that's not a man in love with a daughter he's groomed and raised to love him back. Either way, that little ditty he wrote for her, I need you fellas to keep in the back of your mind for later. The guy though really wants to seem like he's this awesome dad who shares a wonderful and healthy connection with his daughter, and how else could they portray that to the internet other than posting all about their daddy-daughter date nights? Totally appropriate. We'd see in this Instagram post Sarah made about how they had a successful daddy-daughter date night, which I guess in and of itself is innocent enough in a way, but when you pair that with the outfit she's wearing, what would appear to be a satin with lace slip-on dress, a getup very adjacent to lingerie, we start raising some eyebrows. I don't know, because of course I've only been dragged into Victoria's Secret a handful of times, but isn't this the sort of dress that comes with lingerie sets, or at the very least is a piece of it itself? This sort of thing, it just looks extremely suspicious. The implications are super worrisome too, because what, did she waltz into a store and buy that to wear for her dad? Or had her dad walked into that kind of store and bought it for his daughter to wear for him? It's really suspect. It gets even worse though when we see them in this post during this freaky little date night they had, where Sarah clearly is laying in bed beside him wearing that same piece of clothing. Just a disgusting thought to add to all the mounting evidence leading us to the conclusion just what type of man Patrick is, evidence going back years. One of the more captivating pieces of evidence for this whole couple rather than parent-child relationship the two would have would be the method of gifting a purity ring to Sarah that Patrick decided to use. While I personally don't like this whole idea of a purity ring, the daughter having to promise her father she'll stay pure and receiving a wedding ring is weird. I get it's a religious thing, but maybe this can also be an empowering way for a girl to take control of her own life if she's the one deciding to take that route. But generally, that seems to be the way to go about this ring. It's a personal conversation, and it's given over dinner. The following video is the manner Patrick, the genius, decided to go about giving Sarah her ring, though.
Okay, guys, we got something special for you, so please don't go anywhere. Stop scrolling, alright? So, I am about to give Sarah a purity ring, but I'm going to do it in a very special way. I am actually going to make it look like a marriage proposal. Now, don't get the wrong idea, it's not a marriage proposal. Okay, this is just... I'm very grateful that she has remained pure to this point and is continuing to remain pure, and I want to give this to her as a sign that I'm proud of her. There it is. She's going to love it. Okay, so let's go get Sarah. Okay. Sarah, I need you to get up, honey. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to read books.
Yes?
Do it.
You're about to find out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, listen. First of all, okay, you're 20 years old. And this to your age are not pure. I've not known.
Sad but true.
Well, I want to thank you for being pure. Okay? And I want to give you something.
What?
I want to give you something.
Okay.
Okay? So, Sarah.
Yeah. What are you doing? What? What is this?
Sarah, will you wear this ring as a sign and a promise to God and to me to remain pure until the day you're married?
Yes. That is gorgeous.
In your left hand. Okay. This ring will remain on your left ring finger until the day your husband puts another ring there in its place. It's a sign that you will remain pure. you.
I love you
Sweet girl.
too. I like it.
I feel like I don't even have to say much after that. Just really weird display this guy had to put on for us for the internet. What would normally be a personal moment shared over dinner had to be spun in this weird proposal-like manner just to help fulfill some fantasy of his, I'm sure. And with fantasies, oh boy, this Patrick has plenty. Beginning with the worst of Big Belly's most glaringly obvious display of his disgusting nature would be the Literotica account that would be linked to him. You see, for anyone unaware, Literotica is essentially a place where anyone can write stories for other fellas to come across and read. But they seem to be the type of story that one would goon to, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Well, on this freaky fanfic website, we'd come to know this account is linked to Patrick Getchel, and he'd be writing story after story about very inappropriate interfamilial relations, whether that be son and mother, or what relates more closely to him, daughter and father. You see, I couldn't bring myself to look up said stories to see what exactly the details are within every story, but from what I've heard from other creators, what I've read about that's contained within these stories, it's all incredibly disgusting and really stomach-churning. Particularly the father-daughter story he allegedly wrote, where he had really attempted to drive the point home that the father wasn't necessarily receptive to their relationship, subconsciously putting all the blame on his real-life victim, of course, being Sarah, his own daughter. I mean, he goes on to say in these stories he doesn't understand really why it's against the law for you to sleep with those who you trust the most. Your family at one point. It's all just incredibly disgusting and really sick to even hear about. Just imagining this guy clack away at his computer drafting up these twisted stories makes me want to yak. Of course, Patrick being the deflecting liar he is, it would be hard to get a real admittance of guilt out of him. He states he only ever had one Literotica account in his 20s and that this new one is totally not his own.
I did not create any other Literotica accounts ever. Okay, wait, I'll check that. I had one tied to an old email address back when I was 20 years old. But I wasn't reading stories like that.
But of course, as the evidence of the accounts clearly belonging to him, we get this weird half-ass apology / downplay of it all. I'll just read it for you fellas. Of course it does. So yes, I wrote that story. That is the only story like that I have ever written. It was complete fiction and it was hard for me to even write it. But I was being stupid trying to get traction for the whole AI account. And terrifying as it is, most of the top read stories on Literotica are of that category. There, I said it. Now you know everything. Of course, it was so incredibly hard for him to write. He's just trying to gain traction for his AI OnlyFans model, guys. It's nothing too serious. We'll get to the model too, and that's gross as well, but this is just the cherry on the cake, admitting it was in fact him who wrote these disgusting stories. At the very least, one disgusting story. You can't make money on Literotica, and I don't personally see how you could even be driving traction to this AI model. This was him writing disgusting gooner stories for the love of the game, to further fulfill his nasty fantasies, and that's it. I mean, to really put him on blast for these weird fantasies involving younger people, not even his own in some cases. He's also really believed to be the owner of this old YouTube channel, a YouTube account that mainly plays games he often talks about still. A YouTube account that would touch on the fact that the authorities really didn't like the type of photos he had of Selena Gomez on his computer, who 14 years ago when this was posted would be just barely 18.
Once again, I'm sorry for my absence. I wasn't expecting the government to be so concerned with my Selena Gomez folder. It's not, I don't even know how it was illegal. I mean, I downloaded it right off of Disney's official secret website.
Remember that really weird song he had drafted up and sang for her I told you guys to remember earlier? Well, I'll read this following excerpt hidden within one of his stories. I want you guys to tell me if any of it sounds familiar, keeping that song in mind. Sarah, my darling daughter, from the moment you were born, you have made me the happiest man alive. I know it hasn't always been easy path for us, but I am so grateful to have you in my life. I can't imagine not having you in it. Seeing you in that hospital bed brought to life, I realize how important it is to have the ones we love close by, and not to waste a single second on prevarication or artifice. So Sarah, I love you. I have loved you from the moment I saw you. The nature of that love has changed every day I've known you and grown to new heights I could never have imagined. Ugh. I want to see how that love grows every day for the rest of my life. Will you marry me? Wow. I mean, considering that proposal video I showed you fellas earlier Are we starting to see some disgusting similarities here? Similarities that directly relate to his own father-daughter X-rated content he was putting out and his own daughter's relationship with him? The final major item really showcasing the depravity of this father, though, I'd like to talk about is this AI model the dad had created. A model that vaguely resembled a friend of Sarah that she used to have. An AI model that would be found to be portraying itself in some X-rated positions, aligning with the same kind of content you'd find in this guy's disgusting Literotica. The model would do all sorts of things to try and gain traction, one such thing being a song that it had made. A song that, on TikTok, the only person who would use it would be Sarah. Again, linking her to Patrick's weird deviant hobbies. Further linking Sarah to this AI model is the fact that it shares the name with a character in the book her and her father wrote, mostly with AI, a story that follows a relationship between a girl and a dragon. Certainly a story that couldn't be symbolism for her and her father, right guys? Really gross the more and more you look into this. But of course, Patrick, like usual, would deny, deflect, and even shame anyone who would have created something as disgusting as this. That'd be short-lived though, until he folded under a little pressure in an interview. He'd admit to making the AI OnlyFans model that perpetuated disgusting daddy-daughter fantasies and vaguely resembled Sarah's friend.
That kind of AI account, never.
No, I could not.
Never do that.
Even if it's AI, even if it's fake, I could never portray a woman that way.
Because it feels wrong to have a woman, like I'm a woman, it feels wrong to have my gender portrayed in that way because that's what so many women go through.
There's absolutely no connection whatsoever.
You know what? Fuck it. Honestly, yeah, I created the Ariel account.
You didn't see it, but a lot of people in the messages were saying God forgives and you did amazing.
Of course, downplaying it all, and Sarah being brainwashed into always supporting and comforting her dad, immediately switching up on her own opinion and pointing out the few live chatters who had supported his decision of coming clean. Really sick when you pile this all up with the body language this guy is showing in the videos with his daughter, this prolonged staring at a certain area of her body, the touching, the closeness. I just really feel for this girl. This girl who has been so well groomed, so brainwashed into thinking this degenerate's behavior is normal, that she's none the wiser. She's no perfect angel herself, but with the life she's had to live with Patrick all the way up until now, filling this more wife-like role rather than being a daughter, having to be there and comfort Patrick at his every roadblock, not getting a normal childhood whatsoever, truly just a huge victim in all of this. She's fully and entirely brainwashed through and through to believe Patrick could do no wrong. I mean, she really just defends the hell out of the guy, with the both of them having very equal crash outs over and over again over these accusations of Patrick being a creep.
Mind your own fucking business.
Nothing we do is wrong or illegal.
Why hasn't anything been done yet with all the people making viral videos about us?
Because even in the event that it were true, you can't do anything about it.
Call me creepy looking all you want. Say he acts like a child. Say you don't like me.
I know, you're going to complain about the length of this video, but I don't give a shit. I can talk as long as I want. It's my channel.
First of all, he isn't doing this.
It don't matter. None of it matters. Nothing you say matters. Because in the long run, you can't do shit about it.
It's so normal for me that I just can't see it. I must have Stockholm syndrome.
Keep going. Keep making us famous. Keep making us money. Because it doesn't matter. Because you cannot do anything about it. I mean, literally. You can't.
Oh, I must be groomed.
I have no proof, so...
How's my dad still free? The simple answer is, there is no proof.
I'm completely wrong, and I'm completely inappropriate with my daughter.
Even still, all these people reaching out, criticizing her, telling her to move out, really got to her eventually. I mean, she even considered these people trolls. So she put out this video all excited, telling people about her news, her finally getting a job and being able to move out.
First, I got a new job. I'm going to be a customer service representative for a local company. The best thing is I get weekends off and I work a consistent schedule. I don't know how I'm going to like working in a little cubicle answering phones all day, but it pays really well. Which brings me to number 2. I will be moving into my own place. It's just a studio apartment. Actually, it's kind of like an extended stay like where we used to live, but it gets me out on my own so I can finally lay all these terrible rumors to rest. I move in next week. I'm so excited. I won't be doing an apartment tour this time though, because distinguishing features may dox my location, and since I'll be living alone, I definitely don't want that. You'll still see some of it as I film my videos, but again, I have to be careful. I am finishing up the course for my driver's license, so hopefully soon I won't have to take Uber or the bus to get to work. I'm very excited for this, but also nervous too.
Everyone thought this would be a wonderful opportunity for her. Maybe if she had the chance for a little while to escape abuser, she'd be able to snap out of it, really reflect on everything without her dad breathing down her neck and monitoring everything she does. And to support her decision, everyone happy that she'll finally be out of this situation donated to her by buying a bunch of crap for her new apartment that she would put on her Amazon wishlist, which of course Sarah accepted. But unfortunately, it would turn out she lied about moving out and in turn defrauded everyone who bought these things for her.
Everyone, so I've been thinking long and hard a lot recently, and I can't move forward with content without apologizing to everyone. I never moved out. I only made that up because I was so tired of all the hate and everyone constantly telling me to move out. I know it was wrong to deceive everyone with the wish list. I am so sorry that I misled everyone. I did use everything that was gifted to decorate my room, but that doesn't excuse asking for it under the guise that I had my own apartment. I have decided to give everyone the option of a refund. If you bought something from the wish list, send an email to our main email, which is on screen now, along with the screenshot of the order so I can see the item you bought and the cost.
She would of course claim she would pay people back for all that she realistically stole from these people, but we would never see any proof of this. But her being a not so great scammer herself doesn't take away from the fact that in all this, she's a huge victim of her dad, and she has been her entire life. And while she is an adult now, who should be held accountable for her scamming, she wasn't an adult during much of everything that has gone on with her father, and is still very much stuck in that same situation where her dad is an everyday part of her life, always watching, always controlling, and most likely having her still fill this more wife-adjacent role for him. But with all this victim talk, Sarah wouldn't be very happy with us right about now, because you see, very recently, Sarah's had a particularly long-winded crash out clarifying she is in fact not a victim of her father, never has been, and I mean, really gets into it with this Facebook post. I'll read it for you all. I am not beaten. I am not broken. I am strong. For the last couple of years, the internet has beat me down. They've pushed me aside claiming I am a victim. They've tried telling me I'm groomed, that my choices aren't mine, that I have been manipulated. They have caused me nothing but grief, pain, and stress. When I tried to speak up for myself, they twisted my words and validated what I was saying because they believed I wasn't free to make my own choices. I endured it. I tried to move past it, but it affected me even when I didn't want to believe it did. I lost my drive for TikTok. I kept trying to come back, but every time their narrative kept vilifying the one who kept me from completely falling apart. Through everything, the only reason I'm here today, unscathed and clawing my way back to who I am, meant to be, is because of God and my dad. My faith is the most important part of my life. God has seen me through more than anyone knows. As for my dad, he is my rock. He is the one person who can always cheer me up and make me smile no matter what is going on. Then the constant pressure online, the constant attacks against him that made even him falter and get pushed down. That nearly broke me. I tried everything to stop the constant pressure on him. I even lied in order to take the heat off of him. I knew my lie wouldn't hold up, and I hoped it would put some of the heat onto me. The last few months have really been hard, but thanks to God, I finally realized where I went wrong. I let others get to me. I let the opinions of strangers who know absolutely nothing about me get in my head. I let the pressure almost crush me. No more. Thanks to God and my dad, I have finally broken free from all that. I've decided to become the woman God wants me to be, strong, independent, kind, and loving. I no longer care what anyone else thinks. I will spread God's word far and wide, and I will show people who I really am. Those who don't like who I am are not important. They can say whatever they want. I will no longer be ruled by the voices of strangers who don't know me, because I hear the voice of someone who will save me. His voice even commands the sea to be still. His voice even tames the lions. His voice created the universe. So no matter how many voices try to tell me I'm not good enough or that I should listen to them, I can't hear them because God loves me for who I am. God's voices drowns out all others no matter how loud they are. Yada yada yada. If you're reading this, and you too, yada yada yada, more God talk. So essentially we get this long-winded post on Facebook that in so many words blames all the people who contacted her, reached out to her, expressed their sorrows and worries for her, and even those who bought gifts for her for moving out. She blames all of them for the stress she has in her life, blames them for why she lied about moving out, And I mean, really going hard into defending her father at the same time. I mean, at the same time, she's a grown woman. She technically does have the power to leave in theory. Maybe she's just tired of being called a victim, so she doesn't feel like a victim. In her situation, though, we all see it, where her dad holds nearly or just as much authority in her life as God, and clearly she really deeply aligns herself as a religious type. How could she possibly be a victim of her dad? A dad she holds with the same esteem as something that's supposed to be all-powerful and all-knowing. In her eyes, she couldn't possibly be a victim of his. He's perfect. So that's where we stand at this very moment with the daddy-daughter dream team. After all, the suspicious and downright disgusting things that have came out recently about Sarah's father, Patrick, all it's done is upset Sarah, made her apparently fake moving out, and scam what little supporters resonated with her and really felt bad for her situation. And we get this incredibly long statement that in so many words says, "My dad is the best, I could never be a victim, he's not a creep, praise the Lord." All around, I think this is an incredibly sad situation to go back and watch unfold. A girl who can't recognize how inappropriate her relationship with her dad has been. A dad who's been found time and time again to be an incredible creep, related to 2 other creeps. I hope that one day she can get away from this situation and maybe she can start to work on herself and maybe not scam any more of her supporters. Anyways, I appreciate any of you guys who stuck with me all the way through because you're awesome. Don't forget to leave a little like and maybe subscribe for a grub if you want to see more shit just like this. I've had enough of the daddy-daughter dream team though for now. Don't forget we do have these wonderful emotes for anyone who wants to become a pure grub member. Anywho, later Grubbas.